Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Good People Podcast. My name is Kelsey Coop Charles, and with me, as always, Antonio Bruh Long. Antonio, how you feeling today?
Bruh, I'm feeling lovely. It's good to be into the new year. Good to be back with you, brother. Been missing you, man. We ain't did this since November, so it's been real needed, necessary. But by the grace of God, we still here and we're gonna keep it moving.
Oh, most definitely. Sometimes you take that hiatus, it makes people miss you a little bit more, man. I hope our fans and everybody's anticipating this episode.
Yeah. I didn't put anything out, to say that we was coming back. But I one thing before we get started, I really want to appreciate the folks that have been listening. I didn't put it out, but we jumped, another 500 downloads within basically 3 weeks. So the message is getting out there. People liking what they hear. Feel really good about that. This year we hope to continue what we've been doing and try to do some more and get bigger and better.
Oh, well, definitely. Growth is always good.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, especially when, people, like what you're saying. Like I say, we ain't about the drama. We ain't about, none of the craziness that most podcasts come up with. I ain't trying to get all the dirt. I'm just trying to speak on, let's be about what we was about back in the day and uplift these folks to the highest.
Most definitely. We don't have all the answers. We don't know full background story. We're just reminiscing on what we do know and what it meant to us during that time.
You, man, what you talking about in this week's on? To start the year all right. Well, no better way to start with this bang here. When doing the research for it, man, it took me back. Made me feel better. Just to be, thinking about, what I feel like, and we'll get into it, just one of the quality groups of all time.
Oh yeah. They birthed a whole movement and some of the artists that we know today. So,
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. So before you wanna start it off, or you want me to hit the community focus?
You always hit the community first, man. Yeah, community first.
So season 1, episode number 1, season 3, excuse me, episode number 1 for 2023. We have a new community focus, someone that we haven't highlighted before. Lovely young lady. I am actually friends with her husband, good brother that I worked with for about 6 months. Good, wholesome brother. Even though he a Baltimore Ravens fan, I don't hold that against him. But like I said, we always trying to uplift and bring things together. And what she has is Miss Missy Pollard Hudson. She has Always Austin Apparel and More. What she does is she has customized apparel that she creates. She has everything from leisure wear all the way up to wear clothes for you to go out and party and have yourself a good time. She can be reached via her Facebook page at Always Austin Apparel and More. But Miss Missy Pollard Hudson, we welcome you to She Good People's Group. We always highlight folks that are doing things positive in the community, and we make sure that we highlight these folks so that you may prosper. Because when y'all blow up, bye-bye, we blow up right along with you.
There you go. That's for sure.
All right, kick it off, brother.
All right, so without further ado, spotlight tonight for about the better part of an hour or so is going to be on a group that hails from the South.
Yes, sir.
Grassroots in Charlotte, North Carolina, Monroe, North Carolina, really, they say they started in 1989, but actually it started a little bit before that. It's 2 separate groups of brothers. You had KC and the little KC and the Haley Singers, I think it was. And then you had the Great Brothers, which will come together and form a group known as, what we've come to know them as, JODECI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the greats. One of the greats. It is a tremendous. From the first time you heard him, it shook the world. I'll say it like that.
Definitely.
They debuted on Father. The first time you heard them on wax. Let's put it like that. People in Charlotte knew about them. I had heard about them. Some of my cousins that lived in Charlotte, they was a gospel group at the time, and then they took the opportunity. They went up, met with, and that's another show we got to do. The influence of Uptown Records, but they signed with Uptown in 1991, and their debut was with Father MC. And
Let's helps a little bit because I think a little nugget in there that it's always something that pushes a group to be great, that pushes them, gives them that drive, that fire. I don't know if a lot of people know. Of course, it's all on Wikipedia or whatever. Devontae,
yes,
I want to say, was a huge Prince fan. So, he wanted to be signed to Prince. And, when Jodeci first got together, shortly after they started, making the demos or whatever, he decided to go to Face the Part because he wanted to get signed under Prince. So he went up there for the better part of a week. And Prince didn't sign him. I don't even know if he ever met with him or if
he never met with him. Never met with him.
So, he came back and he was, he said those two famous words, forget Prince. And I think that kind of lit a fire under him, because, we all know now, Devontae was a musical genius, but,
yes.
Back then, during that time, and I guess, he emulated Prince because Prince, they cut from the same cloth. Two young guys, well, at the time, when Prince was young, played instruments, did everything, did his own production, did everything himself. Think about it. That's Devontae all day, every day. Well, so when he came back, they started working on the demo or whatever, and then fast forward to the part that you said.
Yeah, the biggest thing about I think during that time, this was during the time Prince was in this bitter fight with Warner Brothers at the time, to get his masters and control everything that he was doing, because his thing was, it was unfair for him to have to pay back money when Prince wasn't using none of their facilities or none of their production or anything. He was doing everything himself. So he was doing, that was 89, 90, 91 when he was really, really fighting with Warner Brothers at the time. So, there really wasn't a whole lot of time for him to be worried about doing extra stuff, I say like that. But Prince's loss was our gain. I'll just say it like that.
That's for sure.
And what we found out when they came out with Father MC, Treat Them Like They Want to Be Treated, I don't even think we paid any attention to the rap part of that song. It was just the harmonization from them that really, really started it. And the thing about it, Father MC, people don't give Father MC, and I know there's other people in the background, but Father MC was the basis for hip hop and soul to come together, because on his first 3 hits, he had the most dynamic background of anybody that came out at that time. Because you started out with Jodeci, with Treat Them Like You Want to Be Treated, and Everything's Going to Be All Right, where we really saw a difference, because on Treat Them Like You Want to Be Treated, it was mostly KC. But on Everything's Going to Be All Right, that was JoJo, and it blew us away. And everybody wanted to be that at the time. But then he also came out with If You Do For Me, and introduced us to the queen of hip hop, the queen of hip hop. So, Mary J. Blige, we knew from that point, and you can make the case right here at the beginning. And this is 1991. Uptown was probably the most influential record company during that time.
Oh yeah, it was a premier label. Premier label at that time.
Because you kind of had to want to be there, because if you think about it, they were to R&B what Def Jam was to hip hop.
Yeah. You think Andre was running the helm. You know, at that time, Puffy was the mail boy.
Yeah.
You had Heavy D. He was there.
Heavy D was big time. You had
quite a
LB.
few people. Yeah.
You know, you had the basis at that point for, and it was a subsidiary of Arista. So again, you was backed by Clive Davis. So obviously you knew at that point, you was coming from a standpoint of, okay, we got to come hard because you're not coming with just anything to put on this label, you know.
True. And I think when Jodeci finally made it to New York and they heard him, you know, I think I forgot who they said the head of A&R was at the time, played him a couple records and said, you know, the owners, you know, he didn't like what he heard.
Right.
And you know, he told him, yeah, well, you know, the boss is not gonna like this, or the head guy not gonna like this. And you know, Jodeci being Jodeci, which I liked about them, they bet on themselves because, you know, I heard Casey say in the interview, they always felt like they were stars, even when they were in Charlotte before they even got signed. Mm-hmm. They always felt like they were stars. They were acting like it, you know. So everything was pretty much them. So they knew what they had, and you know, they made a lot of noise or whatever, and then they wound up getting the record played for Andre, and right. We heard it. It was like, okay, and then I think Heavy D stuck his head in there or whatever, and then yada yada, whatever happened, you know, they wound up getting signed. Well, and it was funny because I think it was Casey or was it Dalvin? I can't remember which one said, you know, the dad said, well, if you don't get signed, don't come back home. You know, those 4 guys loaded up in the escort, right. You know, with $300 in their pocket, you know, spent like what, 100 something trying to get a hotel. So I mean, they pretty much broke by the time they got there. Right. They didn't have a choice. You know, divine intervention, pretty much.
Well, and this is how much it hits at home. They jumped in the escort, bro. During that time, if you was about anything during that time, you had a Ford Escort. I don't care who you were. You know what I'm saying? You either knew somebody or you was with somebody that had a Ford Escort because that was the car to have at that time. And if you was trying to make moves, that's what you was driving. That's what you was riding in. You know, I have been on the passenger side of many days of an Escort hollering at something. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it be.
Yeah, that was the car. That was the car. So, you know, you take that, and then they got signed. Another interesting thing, you know, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but not much. You know, their whole style, everything they did, the production, all of that was all Jodeci. No outside help, no outside influence. And, you know, you had people helping, you know, I guess tighten the vision up, but the vision, everything it was all them.
Well, the thing about them was, and what makes them so influential is they changed the whole entire culture for R&B and hip hop. Everybody wanted to dress like Jodeci. Everybody started wearing hats. Everybody started wearing vests, baggy pants, sagging. But they sag was a different kind of sag. They wasn't, you know, worried about showing everything or whatever. They sag was just, it was that swag that they had. Then they could back it up because they had the singing during that time that really nobody, you know, we'll get into that a little bit later, but really nobody could hang with them when they was on the mic. And then if you actually think about it, they had some of the most influential videos of the early 90s that you can even think about.
Well, they had a different target audience because, I mean, you had R&B groups, but I don't think anybody's ever seen Jodeci before Jodeci came on the scene. You think about the groups that were out before them, and even Boyz II Men, I think they all came out about the same time.
All of them came out at the same time, but Boyz II Men was different. You know,
yeah, they were clean cut.
They were clean cut. They harmonized, even though they had a hip hop sound because of Mike Bibb and everything. Yeah. But they, you know, it was more. I hate to put it like this, but it was kind of more of a Northeast Philadelphia type sound. You know what I mean?
More clean cut. You know, I can't even say churchy because Jodeci had that locked down. I mean, you wouldn't church in all their harmony. I mean,
no, yeah, in every one of theirs. I think the biggest thing, the difference between now Head Up, I'll just be honest. I would love if I could make it happen. If I was king for a day, KC and JoJo versus Juan and Sean. You can even throw Nate in there if you want, just to see who is the baddest man alive. Because I'm gonna tell you,
it'll be whoever lose their voice last. I mean,
pretty much, because you know, we'll get into Wanye. Wanye Morris is a force. I'll just put it like that. But when you put it beside KC and JoJo Haley, you know, you gotta flip a coin at some point, and really you gotta really just understand it's a different level. It's I hate to put it like this, but it's the South versus up north. That's the way I look at it.
Well, it's almost like if you want it mellow and laid back, it's Boys and Men. But if you want that, you know, I'll put it like this. And I'm probably telling on myself a little bit here. I'm gonna say Boys and Men was like Crown Royal. Jodeci was like Jack Daniels. I can't put it no different.
I agree with that.
Jack Daniels is rough, but I mean, hey,
I agree with that.
It gets you there.
It gets you
Crown
there.
Royal smooth.
You know, I can't argue with that analogy there, bro. Because I'm gonna be honest, you right on that one. You know, prior to this, you know, we had talked about you know, the other groups. You know, Silk. Even though Silk is from down south, Silk had that special type of sound that they had, and they
had Lil G.
They had Lil G, you know what I'm saying? But that was the thing. You could not be a R&B group in the 90s and not have an outstanding front man, or if you wasn't the front man, y'all all better know how to sing. And one of the things we've been fortunate with these three groups that we talk about, Silk, Boys to Men, and Jodeci, everybody can sing. That was the thing. You know, you didn't have to rely on one person. As much as I love New Edition and how great they were, New Edition is always going to be basically looked at as rap.
Yeah,
they always going to be looked at like that.
But I tell you what, though, that's still by far the most successful group, because out of that one group, you got what, 4 groups?
Got 6. You got 6 entities out of that one group. But the thing about it is, there's never going to be as great as the Jackson 5 is, and mainly because of Michael being Michael.
Yeah.
When you look at it, that's what New Edition was. New Edition was the come along young kids, just like the Jackson 5. They started that. Okay. What changed with Jodeci when they came in? These were all late teens, early 20s. Okay. This was during the time hip hop had begun to take over the world. And at this time, you throw this group in, and all of a sudden, they just blow the doors off of everything that came out. And the fact that they had everything. You could sing, they could play instruments, and they did their own production. So you didn't need nobody.
Yeah, that's what made them. That's why I would say during that time, I would put them ahead of a Boys and Men. Now, if you're just looking at clarity of vocals, Boys and Men would be all day. But this well-rounded, I mean, Jodeci had it. I mean,
well, you look at it like this here. Boys to Men has Grammys and has American Music Awards. Jodeci got Soul Train Awards.
Demographic, who you playing to? Who you playing for?
You know? It is what it is. Yeah. Boys to Men was more, I don't want to say pop, but they end up being pop just because of how they were viewed by the country. You know, Clean Cut Brothers, you know, when they first came out, the sweaters, the shorts, the penny loafers, you know, that was their style. Conversely, when Jodeci came out, leather pants, no shirt, vest, baseball hat, you know, shades, the haircuts was not clean cut haircuts, you know, and they was the cuts of the day, you know, it was the steps, the boxes, everything. And it was just different.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you said, I mean, you're right. Jodeci was just, they were a little bit more influential. You know, with Boys and Men, you had fads. You know, they had the jackets with the, you know, with jeans and the, you know, with suit jacket with the suit shirts and the ties and the jeans. But when you think about what Jodeci brought to the table. You know, I often listen to the R&B Money podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a segment on there where we get the top 5 albums and artists. Almost always, somebody's going to mention Jodeci in there. I mean, that's just how influential they were. And I mean, you're talking about it. And when they talk about their top 5 of all time, you know, it doesn't mean statistically that whatever that meant to you. You know, I mean, 9 times out of 10 is either going to be Jodeci as a group or a Jodeci song. Something during that time. I mean, something that they did, you know, stuff.
You got to figure, and I'll say it like this here: Jodeci gave birth to R. Kelly.
Jodeci gave birth to Missy, Timberland, Pharrell, Genuine.
But I'm saying from a cultural standpoint, Jodeci gave birth to R. Kelly in the public announcement, because there would never be, if Jodeci wasn't as cutting edge and as dynamic as they were, would you have an R. Kelly?
It would be a harder sell.
It would be a harder sell.
I think he'd still be there, but it'd be a harder sell.
But he opened the doors, and then this is the thing: what Devontae did, because of his outreach, because people don't realize, you know, we talk about Prince and his tree, you know, of how they influence music. Mm-hmm. People don't realize Devontae gave us Missy, Timberland, Magoo, Genuine, Stevie J, Tweet, you know, plus the fact they was already in cahoots with Al B. Sure, Heavy people. And this is one you know, we got to talk about this on one show too. The influence of Heavy D in music. Forget about the rapping. Forget about Mr. Big Stuff.
No, you gotta put the rapping in there, because think about the way he rapped.
But I'm just saying, way heavy people don't realize how much influence Heavy D had from the 80s and into the 90s, or what he brought the culture.
Everybody respected him. I mean, and you take it back to what you were saying, you know, when you think about the way Heavy D rapped, Heavy D had happy rap, no cursing, all this thing and that thing. He had the respect of the street dudes. Everybody respected him.
Everybody loved Hev, bro. Everybody loved Hev.
Everybody.
Because Hev gave you on one, you know what? And there was a question that came up. I think his birthday, you know, or his passing was back November, December, or whatever. And the thing was, you know, people say, and this was my comment about Heavy D. Heavy D never gave you a bad album. Go back and look at his discography. Heavy D never gave you a bad album, and Heavy D gave you some of the hardest songs in the world, and gave you some of the you know, really get your party going, and then also gave you something to make you think, gave you something to make your girl get happy. Everything on every album.
Oh yeah,
that was Heavy's influence. You know what I'm saying? One of his, you know, the second greatest rap love song of all time besides "I Need Love."
Yeah, Got Me Waiting with Silk.
Don't you know? Don't you know? When Hev asked the girl to marry, that was like 86, 80, 87. Don't you know used to, it had a bass line and the word made sense.
Yeah.
And if you from the South, that's all we worry about. Do it got some bass in it? Is it gonna make my speakers knock? That's all we care about.
True.
Didn't care what was being said, as long as it had some knock to it, and you can hear me when I'm coming across the bridge on my way to the ball field. That's when you
got a wide room is on fire or whatever. Yeah,
that's up.
Plenty of them. Put the mouse speakers in there, and the car caught on fire. But hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Hey, but we learn how to do electronics like that too now.
That is true.
But when you couple that, and if you actually look at it, I say, you know, we're doing all this talking, but in reality, Jodeci is probably the most influential group of all of the 1990s. Because without Jodeci, you don't get.
They are. I'm gonna go out and let me say they are.
Some don't get.
Might be upset with that, but they are.
They can get upset all they want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling the truth when I say this here. They are the most influential R&B group of all of the 1990s. Everybody followed Jodeci. Even TLC, as great as TLC is a product of Jodeci.
Well, you know, they were always Mary J. She was in Jodeci video, TLC, Jodeci video. Matter of fact, Dalvin and T-Ball, they had a little stint for a while. It was very short-lived, but
yeah, I used to be mad about that, but because T-Ball, T-Balls is my,
got you.
she is my, has always been,
And another thing about Jodeci, Jodeci was I want to say approachable, people person. I think one year when I was down at bike week in Myrtle Beach, I think Jodeci was down there.
Yes, they were.
So,
yes, they were, because when everybody got back, they was talking about it. But they've always been like that. If you are anywhere around Monroe or anywhere around Charlotte, you always ran into them because that was the thing about them. Even though they were stars, you saw them, so you knew. So, and then what made it even more, being from the Carolinas, that meant a whole lot to us.
Yeah,
from the standpoint, you can get with these folks, and they probably, whether they realize it or not, they just influence so many folks around the way to make them better. Because I probably say, I put it like this: they probably gave birth to Anthony Hamilton too. Yeah. And that just because from being around the influence, because it made music more accessible. Because during this time, by Devontae being what he is, he put the Carolinas on the map. He put Virginia on the map.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think even now, I mean, you got to think about the family affiliation. They're related to Fantasia, stuff like that. But we're gonna swing back to this first album.
Oh boy,
first album, the first single.
Now I'm gonna be honest.
First single that was released.
The first single that was released, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm probably gonna get some flack about this, but I'm just, we keep it real here. I really don't like Forever My Lady.
Well, no, it was one before Forever My Lady. I think it's Gotta Be something. I forgot.
Gotta Be was the fast song that came out, and I'm gonna be honest with Jodeci, on their first album with their fast songs, I really wasn't feeling them, because it was just something wasn't as crisp when they did up tempo and the fast songs during that time. They got recognition when I Gotta Love Gotta Come Out, and there's always one that they point to. But the world took notice when Forever My Lady came out, and that was written by R&B Sure during the time when Quincy was being born. A song for Kim Porter. R&B put his heart in this. It's just from my standpoint, I really didn't like the song. I really have never liked the song. It's just something about Forever My Lady that just grates on me for some reason. I don't know why. But even all the way back to 91, it was one of them. I was like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because it was something different. It was a love song, but you never quite heard it sung that way. So, it was fresh. It was something different, something that we really hadn't heard before.
Well, one of the things that if you want to hit on it from a love song standpoint, you understood what the situation was. They was having a child, and they was expressing their love. And that was something back during them days where this is probably the last remnants of I'm gonna tell a woman how I feel in a song. You know what I'm saying? This is where we are before everything turned haywire and nobody sings like this about their woman.
Right.
But that was the first thing. And that video is, now some people quantify that as a classic because it came out, it was black and white. They was really standing and dancing and, well, not dancing, but, just showing, and they was showing, singing, and the type style, that was the shorts with the long coat, but the coat was short sleeve, you had the hats, especially, at that point. So it's kind of started changing the culture right there, how they did videos. Videos was more, and this was during the time where we ran home after school. Got to get on, if you didn't get Rap City on, you had to make sure you get Video Soul on, because you wanted to make sure you see what you wanted to see, But then they changed the game. Now, when they came out with Stay, I was done. I was great. Stay is probably one of my favorite Jodeci songs. It was, I don't know, I really don't know how to even put it together. Is it JoJo? Is it KC? I don't know.
It's the blend of both. I think you got the grit with KC, and then the mellowness with JoJo, and just with the production of Devontae. I mean, just it all comes together. It's magic.
You know, one of the highlights of that video is at the end when Devontae pull the shades off and he gets a tear in his eye. Boy, now that was classic.
Yeah.
That was classic. And then the part of them boys brought cream and burnt orange and put it on the TV screen. Nobody liked the Texas Longhorns at that point, but everybody went and bought Texas Longhorn stuff after that video.
Yeah. I mean, this is the influence of Joseph.
You know, everybody was like, man, that look good, man. I ain't never thought about that. You know, we in South Carolina, and you start having people selling, you know, Longhorn stuff in South Carolina. That was a no-no up until 91. After we saw that, we were like, oh yeah, we got to get that.
I mean, that was just their style, and I think they mentioned it. I was watching some documentaries on the record label fought that the whole time. They fought their whole style, everything. They never wearing suits, different things. They were just them, unapologetically them.
Well,
they were themselves, no matter what.
You look at they were, and this goes back to Boys to Men. They was the antithesis of I got it. I got it. It came out. It came out. Boys to Men. Boys to Men was always clean cut, you know. But you got to look at the two labels too. We talking about Uptown. Uptown was hip hop and R&B soul. Everybody that was on that label at that point was different.
Yeah.
At that time, Boys and Men was still signed to Motown.
Motown, yeah.
And
regimented.
Barry has a firm way of doing business, and that has always been, and that is what has made him so successful all of these years.
That's his formula. Well, him and Smokey.
Him and Smokey. The ever living Smokey Robinson is Smokey never gonna die because Smokey ruled the world.
Smokey, what, 200?
200. You put Smokey on the screen right now, it's somewhere your mamas and your grandmamas is gonna have a fit and be throwing they big draws up on the stage. Smokey, because that's how much they love Smokey.
Smokey was that guy.
Smokey still that guy.
Still the man.
Smokey got one move. Being with you,
that's it.
Smokey work a crowd. Oh, work a crowd.
With that one little rock.
With that one rock. Now, right, what got us on Jodeci? What after Stay came out, we was like, okay, these boys here might be it.
Yeah.
That made Stay actually, if you didn't buy the album for Forever My Lady, you bought the album for Stay. And this was during the time we had to buy albums. Okay. CDs, albums, cassettes, whatever. So when you finally went and bought it, you started listening, you got a little deeper. And they had a song on there called I'm Still Waiting. Now, if you ever hear I'm Still Waiting, that is KC Haley at his best. And that is a perfect combination of all four of them putting together their talents. And you like, man, these boys, him might be something.
Yeah.
But then they followed it up. If you get a little deeper, you listen to You and I. You and I is a classic. You and I, look in. I put it like this. When this show with, I'm probably gonna get bop in my head, but I'm just gonna tell on myself. You and I, boy, me and Adrian Long, boy, we used to wear that bad boy out. Used to wear that bad boy out because we got on to something at that point, and we were like, shit. Ain't no way no girl can listen to Jodeci and listen to Stay, I'm Still Waiting, You and I, and then they finished it off with Come and Talk to Me. God almighty, boy. And it didn't matter. First of all, they hit us with the standard version of Come and Talk to Me. The video was fire. Okay. All they doing is standing up singing, but the video was fire.
Yeah.
But then they hit us with the remix. And it was over.
But a lot of people, they don't even realize now what they play on the radio, well, what they used to play on the radio after they got so popular was a remix. People probably thought that was the original because they played it so much.
But the remix set the standard for every song. I say at that point, when you made the remix of Come and Talk to Me, every song that was played on the radio had to have a remix because you had to live up to that standard that them boys set on Come and Talk to Me.
You think that's why R. Kelly tried to master it like that?
Yes, sir. Every time. But I even say this, and the person I can't stand more than anything, Puffy was the master of the remix.
Well, that's where he got it from.
He was the master of the remix because he would automatically everything. Mary J. Blige put out a whole remix album to What's the 411. What's the 411 is a classic. What's the 411 remix is a mega classic.
Exactly. I was about to say you can't knock that.
I'm not gonna knock it. I don't even play. I got both of them in my disc. I don't even play What's the 411. I play What's the 411 remixes. Yeah. That's how fire that whole album is. Mary J. Blige could do that whole album and don't sing nothing else and shut down the show.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That just speaks to, you know, what those guys were able to do and what bring to the forefront. So we get done with the first album.
Well, well, wait a minute now. If you got to think about that, you got at the end, you had the interlude 553 Nasty, one of the classic transition songs, pieces of any album. If you don't believe me, go get Forever My Lady, that album, listen to that 553 Nasty. It sets up everything for the rest of their albums to come, because one of the things Jodeci gave you in their transitions, they made sure they transitions flowed the way that they needed them to flow to make the album go. Exactly. It ain't just, I'm gonna put a skit here. No, those skits meant business.
Yeah, it was leading up to something. It was leading up to something. What's interesting with that though, because in the documentary I was watching, they said, you know, they really wanted to drop off between the first and second album, because a lot of the songs on the second album had already been written. They just didn't make it to the first album.
Well, we'll get into the second one, but this is the thing. At this point, Jodeci is mega stars, okay? Mm-hmm. And back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, MTV, when they actually played music, MTV had this thing they call Unplugged. Yeah. And because of the fact that Uptown Records was so well represented at this point, at this point, Uptown ruled the song charts at this point. You had Mary J. Blige, you had Jodeci, you had Father MC, Al B. Sure, Christopher Williams, Heavy D. Okay. At this point, that Def Jam, as great as Def Jam is, Def Jam couldn't even deal with this. Okay. Motown was dead. Motown was dead. Other than Boyz II Men, Motown is dead. Okay. Now you had this.
Let's put this into perspective though, because Boyz II Men was doing numbers.
Boyz II Men was doing numbers. They was doing numbers. But from a standpoint, who else at Motown during this time was doing anything?
Nobody.
From
an influence standpoint, though, I mean, with what Boyz II Men was doing, but Jodeci was still that group everybody wanted to emulate, wanted to be like. That says a lot.
It says a lot
about the influence.
But this is the thing, because of the arrival of Uptown. Okay, two things happened because of the arrival of Uptown. It made Puffy splinter and form his own record company, which became Bad Boy. Okay, and the other part, it gave life to LaFace.
True.
Okay, at this time, the fledgling LaFace down in the South is starting to make noise. Okay, you got TLC, you got Damian Dane, you got Outkast, and we've already went over what this done. But this is where we are, okay? So what started happening is, this is also during the time rap music had became gangster rap. So everybody was leaning toward West Coast rap at this point. Eazy-E was ruling the charts. NWA was ruling the charts. We hadn't got the emergence of Dr. Dre by itself yet, but it was still, West Coast rap was running the charts, okay? There was no East Coast rap at this point.
No.
Because we had, other than Heavy D, you know, the kings of that time, Heavy D, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, you know, there was no hip hop.
Yeah.
So this was where hip hop and R&B took off. And they did MTV Unplugged, which I would say, other than the MTV Unplugged, This is probably one of the greatest unplugs they ever done.
Of course.
One of the greatest unplugs they ever done, because you had everybody that was on Uptown. First of all, you highlighting one record company. Let's be real. Okay. And then on top of this, it gave us Mary J. Blige doing her hits, Jodeci doing her hits, Christopher Williams. People don't even realize how bad Christopher Williams was. Everybody know him from New Jack City, you know, where he destroyed the Red Man Nation. But that's all right. We on our way back. We coming. We on our way back. We on our way back. Pat Mahomes, we on our way back. But anyway, you know, the thing is, Christopher Williams was supposed to be the highlight of that show, and what ended up happening, we had two things that happened on that show that changed the hip-hop world, hip-hop and R&B world forever. First was the spinning rendition of I Don't Want to Do Anything Else by KC and Miss Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
Love song for the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, love song for the 90s.
I forgot about that song until recently.
Boy, that set it off right there. You know, that set it off. Now, Mary had just finished, before they did that song, Mary had just did her rendition of Sweet Thing. So we was already feeling good because, you know, you done brought some Rufus and Chaka Khan in here, you know, and I said it, Rufus and Chaka Khan, not Chaka Khan, Rufus, because there is no Chaka Khan without Rufus, all right? Ask your parents. Y'all know something. There ain't one without the other, okay? But Mary did that, and KC, you know, that put KC in a different light at that point. He was like, woo, he ain't singing with them boys, and that boy can sing.
Yeah.
And then he's singing with the queen. You know, she was already deemed the queen of hip-hop, soul. Her album just come out, y'all. We already saw the greatness. We already knew what it was, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody that can stand beside Mary J. Blige. I don't care who it is.
She's still getting it. So,
Still, you know, she 30 years in the game, bro. Hey, you can't do nothing with that. You know, these children bow down to Mary J. They bow down to her. You know, even the great Queen Beyonce pays homage to Mary J. Blige. Come on now.
Of course.
You know, but then we had this stern rendition of a Stevie Wonder classic.
Oh, yeah. Lately.
Boy, when the first time you heard Lately, how you felt, man?
Well, I'll tell you like this, man. It was pure singing. I think, you know, you never really heard, other than, you know, your parents' whole stuff, you know, you never really heard any modern singers, you know, do it like that. And the fact that Stevie Wonder gave his stamp of approval on, that lets you know something else.
Well, this is the other thing. You know how we regard Stevie Wonder as an artist and as a musician, everything.
They got a term for that. He's an alien. Like that.
He's an alien. And the thing about it is, it's very hard to sing a Stevie Wonder song. Because first of all, you got to outdo Stevie.
And that's not happening.
Man, that ain't happening. But then you got to hold up. You can't be slack singing a Stevie Wonder song.
No.
And these boys come out there and shut it down.
You got to think about that. That goes to let you know about the musical background that those guys had, the musical genius that was Devontae, and, you know, the attention to detail. You know, to be able to pull something off like that, like you said, the average person not going to be able to do it. Many have tried. A lot have failed. Many have failed. You know, but for him to be able to pull that off, and then with the production, I mean, kept it simple. I mean, it's similar, but, you know, I guess a lot of times when people try to remake a song, sometimes they try to do too much to it. Jodeci didn't.
Nope.
It was already perfect. What else are you going to do to it?
First of all, it's a Stevie Wonder song. Okay,
exactly.
It's already perfect. It's already perfection in the first place. Okay, all you doing is trying to hold up the honor and standard that is the song in the first place. But what these boys did, with a slight change, because if you actually play them both together, they actually sound alike. The only reason you don't know I mean, the only reason you know the difference between them is you can tell KC and JoJo's voice from Stevie Wonder's voice,
Yeah.
but from the actual musicianship that they played with, Devontae was on point with it. You know, I cannot find fault in it.
No.
And because of that song, this was their first number one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they pulled it out, man. I mean, what else you gonna give them if you take a Stevie Wonder song and you do it justice? I mean, what else can you do?
Well, you did something that don't get me wrong. Boyz II Men can sing, but Boyz II Men has never attempted to try to sing a Stevie Wonder song.
No.
I'll just leave it at that. Make of it what you will. And Boyz II Men has sung everybody's stuff. And killed it. But they have yet to deal with that because they don't even, you know what? Most people don't even deal with lately because they already know, man, we can't outdo what Casey and JoJo did on that song.
No.
I don't even try. And then to take it and go on the Martin show and put on a stirring rendition.
That's the only way it got top. Martin killed it.
Martin Lawrence killed that song. And I don't know how in the world them boys did not fall off them stools laughing because there is no way I could have kept a straight face fooling around with Martin. And then to listen to Martin say, they didn't know what he was going to do.
No.
They had no idea he was going to come out there and do what he did. So that was all ad-libbed. And they sat there with a straight face. And they, to this day, when it come, that is probably the greatest Martin episode of all time. For no other reason than knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Martin is wild.
Wow, boy. And them cats did not flinch, man. No. And I know internally they was about to die because when he walked out there, it was over for me. Because I'm like, no, this fool is not out here doing Casey and JoJo.
Toe-to-toe with Casey. Toe-to-toe with Casey.
That right there lets you know how classic these boys are, man. And if you don't know, for you young people that listen to this podcast, just go to YouTube and watch Martin Lawrence and Jodeci. That by itself, that's 5 good minutes of foolishness.
Easily.
If you having a bad day, watch it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fall out. Because there's nothing that can interrupt that.
No.
Now, these boys at this point are hot. They are red hot, sunshine hot.
Yeah.
So they go in the lab. Just when we think they can't get no better than their first album. Now, this is what they didn't already say. Well, these didn't make the other album. Well, good Lord of mercy.
You talk about the sophomore slump. They weren't worried about that, I don't think.
What slump?
Because what they came out with after that.
What slump?
Boy,
I contend right now on this podcast, the first 6 songs on A Diary of a Mad Band.
No, you can't say the first 6, the whole album. Go ahead.
No, I'm being specific when I say this here. The first 6 songs on A Diary of a Mad Band. If you ain't got no baby at the end of them first 6, you ain't never gonna have one.
Yeah, They Cry for You. Man.
Bo, My Heart Belongs to You started off. It is over.
What was the first single off of that second album?
Cry for You.
Cry for You, that's what I thought. Yeah.
First of all, they come out. Now, this is right after Marriage. Now, see, this is where I know we didn't change some stuff. This is right after Mary is singing, I Want to Be Happy. And they ain't crack a smile the whole song.
No. All I really want is to be happy.
And she dancing on a mountaintop. KC and them say, we can do you one better. We gonna go in the desert. In leather.
Leather paint. Black. Mind you. Middle of the day. Sun beaming down.
And they gonna say, Cry for You.
And
they sung that song. Oh my God, them boys sung that song. And when they get to the end, and then Casey and JoJo going back and forth, man, come on, man. Come on.
Baby,
Come on,
I'm
just
begging,
stop.
Baby, I'm begging, baby. And then
they out there in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
That shut the game down there. Everybody said, man, we got to go home after them.
And you knew something was wrong. You knew something was wrong with them boys because they followed it up. Where were they? Where were they on the national?
They was in the hospital, man.
Yeah.
They was in the hospital, man.
They was in the hospital.
They come in the hospital in straitjacket.
Yeah.
They got hold of Lennon Williams woman.
That's the modern day Lennon Williams song, Phoenix. There you go.
They got hold of Lennon Williams woman, and they got straitjackets on, and they was in the hospital, bro.
Think about it. Take my money, my house and my car.
My house and my car. Who in the world start off a song like that? But all he wanted was a hit of her. He didn't want her. He just wanted a hit.
I don't want to meet that.
Bruh, that right there, Cry For You and Fiend. Both. You can't, there are not words to describe those two, one behind the other. How you gonna come out and hit us hard like this here? But then they come back and they hit What About Us, which it's a slow jam, but it's an up-tempo slow jam. And you sitting there like, I'm in need of love. Come on, man.
You're in need of love. What about us?
What about us? On and on and on. Then they hit you with the ride and slide. They get you back in the funk. And I was like, man. Then they hit you with Alone. You know, I'm like, come on, man. Like I say, the first six got you. But then what they did on the second album was they up tempos was more, you can tell the production was better. Because You Got It, Won't Waste Your Time, and Success are classic up tempo. This is where I put it like this. This is where I kind of put Devontae at the same level of Teddy Riley.
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
At that time, because the only people that had that kind of style, swag, and production was Guy. You know, so this kind of put me in the mind. Oh, okay, Devontae, you know, he own it. You know, so I mean, again, Diary of a Mad. To this day, Diary of a Mad Band still gets played.
Oh yeah,
still gets played, and every time, you know, when you hear Fiending, you automatically it take you somewhere.
You know, the Fiending remix. Don't forget about the remix.
Oh, Bo, again, you gotta make a remix. You gotta make a remix.
Yeah,
you know, but when it gets you like that, that's what it is. So these boys still riding high, man. You know,
this a year and a half, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago? Well, after they dropped the first album, I'd say about a year and a half. The first one, 91, that was December 93.
It was December 93, but this was the thing about December 93. And I'm gonna say this here. December 93 is special because this is where Uptown is starting to kind of dissolve at this point because Puff is left. Puff is gone to start Bad Boy. So you kind of got a little vision there. This is the emergence of TLC at this point, along with everybody else that's on the face. Boyz II Men is megastars, you know, but in the community, in the culture, we don't count them no more at this point. You know, they on a different level because this is after Boomerang and End of the Road has blown up to the point we can't, they on the Beatle level now. We can't even deal with them like that. You know, and we don't even try. You know what I'm saying? We just already know, okay, these boys ain't good. And this is actually before Boyz II Men 2 comes out. So that's playing in this too. Okay. So, but I would say this here, because of the success of A Diary of a Mad Band, that made Boyz II Men go harder on 2. And if you pick up 2, you realize Boyz II Men from 1 to 15 had to show out on that album because they knew I got to contend with these boys.
Yeah. I mean, they showed out, but it was a different way. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, the urban hip hop, whatever, but they did show out.
They did. 2 is a classic. Okay.
Yeah.
2 is a classic. But I contend 2 had to be a classic because of what Jodeci did with Diary of a Mad Band.
Yeah.
Because Diary of a Mad Band is gonna be forever held up to a higher standard because it is better than Forever My Lady. Diary of a Mad Band can only be surpassed only because these boys go back in the lab and make the show
after party
at the hotel. And Lord have mercy.
Front to back. You don't skip a track. You don't skip a track. Because each song got an interlude. It's ready. I mean, this is a masterpiece, man. It was a masterpiece.
You know, we throw this around a lot, but I'm just gonna be real about this here. This right here is the height of musical ability. Yeah. There's not another album like the show, The After Party in the Hotel. You can't even get there. I don't even think there's a way to get there. No. Never have I seen a mixture of everything. I ain't even gonna break it down. Never have I seen a mixture of everything in a musical album the way that this.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you everything from you'd have to think so far outside the box to produce something like that.
I'm trying to think now.
Concept, the musicality, sonically. I mean,
I'm trying to think now. Who I can think of from a standpoint of how you set your album up to let your album flow to the point where when you play this album, you don't even skip the skits and intros. It's part of the flow of the whole album, and it's like, you know, why am I even gonna try to skip this here?
You gonna miss something. You miss something you skip.
And I'm trying to think who else I know, you know, of all the music I've listened to in my life, who else have I ever listened to that I've never done that? And as much as I love,
like that.
Much as I love Cash, man, I can honestly say I ain't never did them like that.
No.
You know, and them boys got 3 certified classics.
Yeah.
You know, but they hit it from the start. You know, when it come on, you know, and they supposedly didn't disappeared and
you're missing. Yep.
You know, it's like, what the devil going on? Then they hit you with Bring the Funk. I'm like, oh man, we gonna start off like this.
But the hardest drum track. Want some more? Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Woo. First of all, the girl set it off at the end. You know, you want some more. I'm like, man, but then you transition to that.
Right on in. Yeah.
Right into the classic. Get on up. I mean, and then if you think about Get On Up, is that Jodeci's greatest song?
No.
Seriously, now think about it.
It's a nice, smooth, mellow, laid back beat, but I'm gonna have to get that one to Phoenix, man. To me, I don't know.
I got one better. I got one better. If you gonna go Phoenix, I got one better.
What's that?
Freaking You.
Well, yeah. I mean that's they built pretty much the whole album around that one song. And Casey did not want to sing that song. I
don't know why.
He didn't want to sing it. He said, man, when Devontae wrote that, he said, man, you know, we done sung a lot of stuff. That's going a little too far. You know, Casey will tell you himself, the way he broke that story down, I'm not going to do it in injustice, but I'm going to ad-lib it. He said, man, I can't do it. Devontae told him to go home, and I said, I bet you tomorrow you wouldn't sing that song. Casey said he got there that next day. He still had reservations. Devontae told him to go in the booth. Guess what was in the booth?
What was in the booth, though?
According to KC, now, it's not me, KC Haley. He said Devontae had about 10 to 15 of the baddest ones you want to see.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
He's saying that thing from top to bottom.
That'll do it, because I'm gonna tell you, the video for Freaking You, it is a classic.
Yeah.
It is a classic.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of them things where it's just like, you got that whole album, man. You went the whole gambit of I'm a player, I'm a good dude. Let's go get married.
Yeah.
You know, and then me just, they finish it off with Good Love, hanging with the fellas. We just harmonize, and people don't even realize how good Good Love is, and that's just them kicking it.
Yeah.
My
favorite on that was I don't think it ever got released, but Time and Place.
Oh, boy. The beginning of Time and Place, it sets the mood, because Devontae is at the beach. You hear the seagulls going, you hear the waves, and you got it just harmonizing in the back of your head, and it's like,
and the guitar comes in,
whoa,
the guitar starts strumming, and it sets it off, man.
Bruh, I'm just gonna be real about it. I got a child. I got a child because of this. I'm just gonna be real.
That's a classic album, man.
Like I say, bro, I'm gonna get buzzed in the head for this one, but I'm just being real. I got a child because of this album, dog. Hey, man, there was no way. It was no way.
That was your voice, man. I mean, whatever you want to say, you ain't have to say. You plug a song in. I mean, it's like like you said, the interlude, the Time and Place, then Time and Place, and then right after that, Falling. Oh man, it was over. It was over.
The whole thing was over.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And then they go mess it up. They take a break.
Well, they had to take a break though, bro, because at this point, they were. I would venture to say, at this point, they were probably the biggest group in R&B at this point. You know what I'm saying? You done had 3 certified banger albums come out.
Yeah. Well, according to them, they didn't want to be saturated. They said the landscape of hip hop was changing, rap was changing. They didn't want to get saturated in all of that. So they decided to take a break.
But I think some of this break was necessary because I think they had partaken in a little too much extracurriculars at this point.
Well, they spoke on that too. They said, it got to the point where they wouldn't go on the stage without having some alcohol or something in the system.
Well, it was just the mood that came along with Jodeci, though, man. Women was going to see Jodeci. I don't care what it was. You know what I'm saying? I had when I was coming along, you had factions. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really hollered about Casey and JoJo. Everybody wanted Devontae and Dalvin. And now Dalvin, people break their neck for Dalvin. Dalvin ain't sung or lead on no song the whole time, but they just saw Dalvin and just lost their mind and just wanted a piece of Dalvin. You had to deal with that, and then you got to look at some of the moves that they made. At this time, you went and you started hanging with one of the greatest rappers of all time, and you made 2 bangers with him, the classic. And then, depending on which video you watch, when you watch How Do You Want It, if you watch the real version, ain't no way you could have stayed in the right frame of mind with Tupac, Casey, and JoJo Hayes.
Lisa Ray was in there too now.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There was no way you could. How Do You Want It video was. They blurred that bad boy so much when we were watching when we was younger. It wasn't until you got old enough to watch Uncut.
Yeah.
To see it in a different light, but then you realize, ooh, Lord.
Yeah.
And we all started drinking Alizé because of that too.
Yeah.
It
was that time too. I mean, you could really get to see, like you said, production and all the stuff wasn't there. Casey and JoJo went on to do their own thing. These boys can really sing.
Yes, they can.
Guys can really sing.
And you start putting them on everybody's soundtrack at that point too.
Man, let me tell you. You talk about Stevie Wonder. Not too many people gonna follow with a Bobby Womack either.
Well, bruh, first of all, in order to sing a Bobby Womack song, you got to have some pain and some hurt in your heart to sing. To sing Bobby Womack. Casey proved that, on when he's saying "If You Think You're Lonely Now," and I would be remiss to say he might have sung it better than Mr. Bobby Womack.
I would say so too, because I remember listening to like, did that Bobby? No, that ain't Bobby. No. That ain't Bobby Womack.
No, that ain't Bobby Womack. When you had old heads talking about who, that ain't no Bobby. No, that KC. They were like, from Jodeci. Yeah, they were like, oh,
yeah,
get something here.
Yeah,
you know, and then
that church upbringing, that southern roots, man.
Oh man, you know, have you ever heard him sing? I'm gonna give you nothing that he sings by himself. Have you heard him sing Sunflower? Ooh, ooh, whoa! He put the OJs to shame, boy. You know, if
that's
you
hard to do.
You know, if you out singing Eddie and Walter, you think, yes, sir.
Dangerous.
When you get a chance, pull up his version of Sunflower. Boy,
Will do.
Put Eddie and Walter like, They had to think about it.
They don't like KC now. Who you think he is? Come up sing my song better than I can sing it.
Yes, sir. But that's what they did. But then when you look at it, now one thing I can say about them two, and I'll give you another. If you want to see some freakiness, go back and watch them and toss it up with Tupac. I think that was getting ready to be a force to be reckoned with. It had Tupac not got killed.
He didn't Jodeci like that. He liked Jodeci.
He loved Jodeci.
Monte and all of them. I mean, I think when they did that, all of them were out there for that. I mean, yeah, KC and JoJo were singing, but I think all of them were a part of that.
All of them was a part of that. But you get them out there, you think about what could have happened if you had Tupac and had Jodeci singing the hooks for Tupac. Come on, man.
Weren't they still signed Uptown during that time?
No, they were trying to get out their deal. They were trying to go to Interscope at that point. They were trying to get out their deal. That was when everybody had reverted back to, Andre had left Uptown at that point, and they was trying to get away from Arista at that point.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But like I say, they started doing all the soundtracks, they did Life,
But then also had their album too, though.
They did their album, but a lot of that was songs that they had made for, different movie soundtracks. Because Crazy was, I think, Say the Last Dance. I think they really didn't get to their song until All My Life and Tell Me It's Real.
Yeah.
But when it's just then, I'm gonna tell you one of the, and I wish I would have had it in my wedding. This very moment, when you hear that, that is a classic wedding song, but it takes brothers that can sing, not sing, sing. It takes brothers that can sing to tackle that one.
Yeah,
we getting to about the end here. This my take on Jodeci. Jodeci's influence is still present today, 30 years later.
Oh yeah.
We don't talk about the fourth album because the fourth album,
I hadn't heard it. I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard it. They came back together in 2015, put the album out. It was supposed to be one in 2001, but they recorded songs, but they never released them. And I think after 2001, that's when they called it quits. But they got back together in 2015, but I've never listened to it.
It ain't.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't listened to it.
It ain't. It's hard when you didn't had 3 certifieds. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do it. I'll just be real. Everybody can't do it. You done had 3 certifieds. You took a 15-year layoff. It's hard to get it back, man. And especially when you done been through so much stuff personally, so much stuff from a personal standpoint. It's hard to get it back. But they don't need to. Because the thing about it, all they got to do, go out on tour. We going to see them because we.
And I think they've blessed us enough. I mean, not only were those 3 certified, but you spoke about it and I spoke about it. When you think about the lineage, you look at a Missy and what she's done, who she brought on. You think about Timbaland and Magoo when they came out. Timbaland with Aaliyah. You think about Timbaland finding Genuine, his tree. You got Tank, and Tank's got a ton of hits out there.
Right.
I mean, he's still doing it 20 years later. And then you think about Tweet, and you can almost hear the influence of Jasmine Sullivan in a lot of that too. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just that tree. That tree is so deep, man. That so many branches. So I mean, even though they may not be, you know, I'm not even gonna say as relevant as they were back then. I think they're even more relevant now because I mean, with the people that they were able to influence and give birth to. I mean, even Stevie J. I mean, he started out with them too. I mean, you know, as wild as he is.
Well, now I'm gonna be honest. Now, you know, Stevie, from a production standpoint, Stevie has put out a lot of hits. A whole lot. I can't fault the man. Now, you know, I ain't somebody that, you know, follow around that stuff that they do now on TV because that just ain't me. But I mean, I'm strictly about the music, and if you're doing the music, I'm gonna give you your props when doing the music. From my standpoint, just like you said, the influence of Jodeci is so far reaching even to this day. People still try to, even though it might be exactly the same, people still dress the way that they dress. You look at a lot of folks when they go out on tour, they go out on shows or whatever, that's Jodeci. It might be a little more refreshed or whatever, but that's Jodeci, you know, from where they are. But I contend there isn't a talent out there that can go against them. Even Boys to Men. I don't think there is.
Well, I put it like this: song for song, yes, but holistic production and everything they brought to the table, can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do it. But when you say song for song, Coop, I'm gonna be honest. It depends on what my mood is. You know what I'm saying? If my mood is to be laid back, chill, when I'm able to drink, you know, just get me a drink. You know what I'm saying? You listen to Boys to Men.
You also got a song for that too.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm way I'm putting it is like this here. Boys to Men is your dinner music. Jodeci is your after dinner music. True. Okay, that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. I look at it a little different, just because of the talent of Devontae. Boys and Men had I'm pretty sure, and I've heard it before, that they had songwriters. They wrote songs, but I don't know. I know they don't have production like Jodeci. So I'll put it like this: if you put Boys and Men in the studio and you put Jodeci in the studio, when Jodeci comes out, you're gonna get Jodeci. Boys and Men come out, you might not get that. You weren't gonna get that because Jodeci could do everything.
Right.
They could do it all together. You put them four in there, they coming out with the same album, same everything you know from 1989 with the first album, second album, third album. You gonna get that. Boys and Men had people working for them, production or whatever. Now, songwriting, they've got that. Right. But I don't know if you get the musicality with that. So, you know, I look at it that way.
You not. I look at it from the standpoint, and I put it like this: from anybody that's 35 to 55. That's our generation. Okay. Anybody that's 35 to 55, if you put on any song from the first three albums and you just watch the reaction, people gonna lose their mind, bro. And depending on what time of day and evening it is, people probably gonna get lost. Because that is the overcoming situation of Jodeci. Like I said earlier, Jodeci gave us Jodeci birthed R. Kelly. R. Kelly, the music, and I'm not talking about from a what Kels do and all that, but from a musical standpoint, Jodeci gave birth to R. Kelly, and R. Kelly for sure capitalized on it to the point of that's a show onto itself. Just and y'all can we talking musically from a musical, outside stuff. I ain't worried about that. I don't look at we could do that, but why? Everybody else doing that. I'm talking about strictly music. Strictly music. You know, we already had this conversation. There ain't too many people can go head up with Chaos.
No.
You know, but you got to figure, you look at it like this here. Jodeci, look at Jodeci's influence from the standpoint, I would say Chris Brown, Usher.
Oh yeah, definitely, because Usher was around during that time.
He was around.
But,
he was a young pup at that point.
Yeah.
But you throw Avant in there, you know, that swag, that way you carried yourself, that pure art of singing, you know.
The biggest influence, a lot of people don't realize, if you think about it, Jagged Edge.
All day. All day. Brandon and Brian, shh, boy. Nah, that might be the two that can hang with JoJo and KC.
They good, but no.
They might.
I mean, they got some hits, but
they might. They'll walk right out of heaven, might.
Yeah, I mean, gotta be. You know.
Nothing is promised. Now they can't go song for song. But if they pick their best song, and we pick Jodeci's best song,
who gonna holler with KC though?
Ain't nobody. I already know that. Unless you're gonna get somebody off of Shirley Caesar choir or something. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing with that boy.
No. That's
look here. That boy is, look here. If you ever want something to warm your soul, go to YouTube and put him and Fantasia singing "There's a Leak in This Old Building." Bruh.
Bring it down. Bring it down.
They don't even finish. They at the house doing it. They ain't doing it at church. They at the house. They at Mama and them house.
Yeah.
At Mama and them. They tear it up so bad that he got to say, he even say, let me stop before I miss this house up. He was about to tear it up. And I'm like, man, this don't even make no sense.
And the only way we got that is because somebody decided to hit the record button.
Somebody, well, again, you at Mama and them house and you just chilling.
That's it.
You know, but to be that blessed to the point of, you know, you ain't even got to try hard and you can make a bang. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got that, man. It's a lot of folks. It's a lot of folks. It's right here, especially now in this generation of music. It's a lot of folks they lying to y'all what they're giving y'all on a track. Now I'm gonna tell you that right now. These people can't sing.
No.
These people are fooling y'all.
Well, I'll put it like this. What I found, and I know when we first started this journey, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find some good R&B. What I have found is you got some people out there that can really sing, but unless you dive deep into Spotify or just like on podcasts like we doing now and really dive down there and find them, you're not gonna know.
Bro,
Back then, they were bringing music, they were bringing that singing to the forefront. Now, they're running away from it. You got to go find it.
Look at it. I tell anybody, when we started this journey, when we started this podcast 3 years ago, our first show was "Is R&B Dead?" And you know, you made a very, very good explanation that it is, and I had to refute it. Now I will say this here again, just like you just said, true R&B, true singing, true talent, whatever, you got to go find it. The record companies ain't gonna give it to you. If you listening to the regular radio, they ain't gonna give it to you. If you listening to Sirius, they ain't gonna give it to you. You got to go get it yourself.
You might get a nugget every once in a while, and then you go look it up. Every once in a while.
But if you, one of the things I love, and granted, our podcast is on all platforms, but I'm gonna highlight Spotify because Spotify allow you to go and dig and don't give you no problems about what you're going to dig at, charging you for nothing or anything like that. I love it because of the fact I have found so many great artists just by doing that. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but the little chick, I think her name's Snow Allegra.
Snow Allegra, yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
She is fire.
Yeah.
She is fire. I love her. I love her flow. She is straight fire. You know? I'm gonna tell you one right now. And I've been paying attention to them because I think they finna be the next mega stars. Beyonce, Lil Hellions, Chloe and Halle.
Yeah.
Them two finna be trouble. Okay. I'm gonna go on and say it. Today is the 30th of January, 2023. Yeah, I know they had success by themselves as a group, but these two little heifers finna be trouble. Chloe just dropped her album. Halle's working on her album. It ain't gonna be about music though. They finna be the new Beyonce. Okay, they gonna have movies. They gonna have opportunities. Telling you better get on board now. You
Why
ain't
not? They ought to. They ought to take full advantage of it. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. They got a driving force behind them. You are at the feet of the queen. She ain't gonna put you in no bad situation. And Mama Tina is really the one steering that truck. Okay, so you already got somebody that done been through it. Know how the thing go. They're gonna put you on the right path and make you superstars.
I mean, they got all the connections too. Think about it. Hey, destiny. I mean, you get to the right. All you gotta do is listen, and you're gonna get there.
Look, don't be hard headed. Don't mess up. But I'm telling you right now, them little heifers finna rule the world. When this movie come out and she the Black Mermaid,
yeah,
ain't gonna be another mermaid after that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Don't even try to play that role. Nobody else can have it. Yeah. No. And she the little one. Big Sis is the monster. The little one is the sweet one. Big Sis is the monster.
Yeah.
She is Beyonce incarnate.
Yeah.
It's finna be a problem. Look here. I beg people, yo, we do this because we love to, but I'm the reason why I really, really want to do this is like, since I've been down and sick and whatever, it gives me the opportunity to explore stuff. It is so much good stuff out there, but you got to go get it. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you.
No, gotta find
it. And I give you a nudge. She already a superstar, but I'm gonna blow her up some more. If you ain't listening to SZA, something wrong with you. 7 weeks in a row. 7 weeks in a row, #1 Hot 100. Let me tell you right now, certified. She got 23 tracks. I listened to all 23 tracks. Heifer ain't got a bad track on it.
No.
How you do that, bro? I ain't saying they all great. What I'm saying is she ain't got no bad track on it.
Talent. That's what it's called. Talent.
So this is the thing.
We used to have.
You got to raise your game. Okay. Next year for the Grammy, she got it. I already seen it. Because her first 7 songs, the ones that already, how you got the top 10 and 7 of them yours?
Well, I'm going to stop you right there, man. She should have Grammy.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot. Grammys come on this week. I'll just say this here. I forgot. My bad, son. My bad. Grammys don't mean that. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Grammys don't mean that. Because Grammy overlook people that really, really are good.
Exactly.
With some crap. Because this week here, if Beyonce don't come home with at least 4, turn it off. Okay? Because some of the categories
for the most all time, right?
Yeah, her and Jay tied for the most nominations. But this is the point. The reason why I say that is this: if you look at some of the categories they got her put in, and against some of the people that they got her up against, shouldn't even be a problem. Shouldn't even be a problem.
Shouldn't be.
But if she mess around and lose, I see. Before we get off here, let me just ask this question here. Since I've been little watching the Grammys, Bonnie Raitt has been putting out music. Look like every year, okay? One been nominated for Grammy. And I'm like, I don't think I ever heard a Bonnie Raitt song in my life.
Yes, you have.
What?
I Can't Make You Love Me.
That's her song?
Mm-hmm.
Sound better with Tank singing. I ain't lying. Sound
Bonnie
better
Raitt
with
put out
Tank
some good
singing it,
music, man.
boo.
Bonnie Raitt put out some good music, man.
I'm just saying, bro. How you put out an album every year and you up for Grammy nomination every year, bro? How?
Yeah.
And who she be up against? Don't nobody buy your music. But you up against bangers though, bro. I ain't talking about little no names. I'm talking about singers, you know. And I don't want to hear none of this stuff about no Taylor Swift. No, I ain't talking about her. I ain't talking about her. No, I'm talking about Adele. You know, somebody that I can say, ooh, 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 ooh. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason.
From the start. Yeah.
No reason she should ever always be there, man. It's like, come on, man. Don't. But the thing about this here, and I give you a prime example. Kendrick has, I think, 7 nominations this year. Kendrick ain't gonna win. I already know that.
No, he's not gonna win.
I already know that.
Yeah.
Kendrick ain't gonna win. And it's like, what do you have against? The man is literally right now probably the greatest lyricist in hip hop. Got an album, and if you ain't listened to it, you need to go listen to it. Got an album so deep that, okay, when you hear the first 3 tracks, you already know, okay, this banger him.
That's why. Because he's on. That's why he won't win. They don't want to hear that.
I understand that.
That's not what they're trying to push.
But this is the thing. This is why I say, and everybody talk about, and you know, we have to do a fight about the Grammys on one of them. You know, the Grammys only got certain ones right over the last 40 years. I say like that. Because when you did the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, okay, we can't fight that one. Okay. But when you gave Stankonia album of the year, didn't deserve it. I love Cass, but if you was gonna give out album of the year, Aquemini was the album of the year. Okay. All right. When you did Speaker Box and The Love Below, granted, can't say nothing. One of the great albums of all time. Again, them boys deserve their credit for Aquemini.
True. But I heard the story, I think was L.A. Reid said, and that just speaks to the genius on it. I know we talked about it before. When Big Boy put out Speaker Box, they put out The Love Below how fast?
2 weeks.
He said, okay, when Big Boy album drop? Okay, all right, okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Boy made a Grammy winning album in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. He did everything he could not to rap until that last song. And in case you forgot, this is what I do.
This is why, and I say again, and I will continue to say this. At some point, I hope Dre decides, give me something, baby. One last album, one last whatever. I don't care.
I just want one last song with him and Big Boy.
Well, I don't care. As long as it's him and Spody Ope Dopalicious, long as it's him and Lucius Left Foot, I don't care. Who else you want to put on? Be honest, if it was me and I had my way, if I was king for a day, I'll say again, I would want him and Big Boy to do one, but I would also want a Dungeon Family, just because I need a song with Killer Mike and CeeLo Green somewhere, man.
Yeah,
I don't care if it ain't nothing but the hook. Give me Killer Mike at his prime on a beat, on a Rico. Man, shoot, you can bring Future back for this one. Shoot, I don't even care. Look, if you want to shut down all of Atlanta, bring them all back together, do what you gotta do. But I will say this here. Now, and this is me saying from the standpoint, I hate that Takeoff is gone. You know, I've said, you know, me and the Migos ain't what it is or whatever. But that song him and Quavo got together, woo, that's a banger. That's a banger, boy. That might be the hardest. That might be the hardest I ever heard Takeoff go, man. And I was like, you know.
They always said Takeoff was the one that was saying it, the one that said stuff.
Yeah.
He was the baby out of the group too, I think.
He the baby. He the baby. But this is the thing though. I think from a future standpoint, and also I think the table's getting ready to turn in all of music right now because it's just too much talent.
Well, and then they don't have to go to the big record labels to get the music out. Right. Now those guys are going to them. You know, you got too many different streaming medias.
Right.
You put the music out.
Right.
You got two different ways to get your music to the masses. So they don't really need them.
You don't need them. And my thing is, do you? You know, don't try to copy nobody. Do you? We've seen, you know, years ago when you did your own thing, you became a star. I see some people with some potential coming up now. They gonna be dynamic. My thing is, from a standpoint, you got to get away from the cookie cutter images, you know, things we didn't see, and get to.
You got to live and go through something. That's the essence of R&B. I mean, all day long. You got to live and go through something.
Yeah. You gotta live. I mean, and really, we got to get back to love, man. But the thing is, everybody do such craziness and wildness right now that I don't even think love even a part of it. These cats do some stuff, and we didn't even think of. You know what I'm saying? But you can only do what people allow you to do. I put it like that. And I'm not gonna say whether it's male, female, it's on both sides. You can only let what happened to you is whatever they allow you to do. So if they allow you to do dumb stuff, it is what it is.
Get away with it. But not everybody got a hand for something on one day though. Just remember that. It's gonna be that one.
It's always gonna
really
be
gonna like. It's really gonna like.
Well, one thing I didn't learn in the 50 years I didn't been on this earth is this here. You're gonna meet one that gonna have you in the corner sucking your thumb, and you're gonna meet one that gonna hurt your heart so bad that you're gonna be singing and you're gonna be sitting around with fellas talking about she good peoples and talking about I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe you've never been in love like I've been. You know, when you start having them type of conversations with your fellas, it's a terrible thing.
You gonna have one that's making you gonna have that one relationship that makes you say, "What was I thinking?" Then you gonna have that one that make you say, "What was I thinking?"
What was I thinking? Yes, sir. That is the basis. That is the basis of life, bro. That is the basis of life. You know what I'm saying? You know, one day we gonna talk about that, and it's gonna be a banger and a bang. But Lord knows, you know, the stories we could tell.
It's gonna be a volume 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, anyway, cuz I'm glad we back on this here. I feel good. I'm gonna tell you, it's the best I done felt in a couple of months. I'm so glad to have my partner back. We back doing what we do best.
Glad to be back.
And our next show, we're gonna finish up the series on male R&B singers, and we're gonna talk about the great and illustrious career of Boys to Men. Favorite. And I love Jodeci, but I've done a lot of things to Boys to Men as well. So, you know, that first album is certified. It's certified. But see, that first album had a slow side and a up-tempo side.
And they had some remixes also. Ooh-ah, they did that in what, Spanish? I mean, so you know.
They did it in everything, dog. And the remix was better than the original song.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so I'm gonna look forward to doing that one. We'll probably do that in a couple of weeks or whatever. We're gonna get back on track, but glad to have season 3. Bruh, before we get off here, I would like to say, man, season 3, bro, who would have ever thought?
Yeah, definitely.
Who would have ever thought, man? We still climbing, we still striving.
Oh yeah, it's a process, you know.
You know,
we're not doing it for the likes. We're doing it for the love.
Doing it for the love. You know, I'm glad people chiming in. This year for sure, we're gonna try to have the show of all shows, to have all the crew together. If it ain't nothing but do what we used to do, a cookout, something to eat, something to drink, and something to lie on. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it.
And a deck of cards, because that's how it always goes.
It always starts.
That's how it always starts. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if somebody that has played a many card games with these fellas, something always gonna pop off. It ain't always gonna be a fight. I can tell you that right there. But it's gonna be good.
It's all love. It's all love.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be all love.
Hey, look here. If you hear we playing a spade game and it's four or five of us together, you just already know. Oh, it's about to be a party.
Exactly.
It's just about to be a party, because it ain't never disappointed me in all the years I've been knowing these brothers.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yes, sir. I don't care. I can sit there in the hand with a joker deuce. It don't matter. Ain't nothing never been as good as our parties when we've been playing cards. Yeah. Yes, sir. Hey, if something might fall out the sky, we're gonna be in the backyard. Something might fall out the sky.
We're just gonna keep it moving.
We just keep on, just keep going. That's the way we roll. But man, much love to you. Love to you and the fam. Glad to see you. Glad that we back on this. Again, if y'all I advise you to go to Spotify. Even though we on all platforms, go to Spotify. Really, you can listen to these top 3 albums from Jodeci. I promise you will not be disappointed. Oh my God. I had such a ball last week putting this together. Oh, you know, sometimes you reminisce and you remember stuff you forgot about. It's like, God, no. You will not be disappointed. For you young folks out there, this is what real singing and what real musicianship is all about. Get ready, get yourselves right. Hit us up again. Our Facebook page is up. Hit us up, like us, and also go to Miss Hudson's page and make sure you check out what she's offering. Also on our Facebook page, I put the other community focused groups on that page as well. So you want to get in touch with anybody around here, I got a lot of folks offering you a lot of good things. We're gonna take care of Black, if nothing else.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, bro.
With that, until next time, peoples, be safe. We love you. Thanks for listening.